Hey you guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to Conquering Kerbal Space Program. This episode is going to be kind of a recap episode. I've been playing a lot. I've kind of got a whole bunch of progress done on the path to things here, and this is currently being played in around 400% speed, so there's a lot here to cover, so let's just get started. In the last episode, we did our moon mission. We got our moon vessel kind of launched, and unfortunately, and this is all I'm doing here is basically getting science and getting the science ready for the moon and getting it transmitted into the mobile processing lab. And we're going to make our sort of insertion burn, I guess you could say. We're going to be making our capture burn onto the moon here, so that I can get myself into orbit. And I want to get a fairly eccentric orbit, and I want to get really close to the moon and really far away. I have some reasons for that. I'll go over them later, but basically it has to do with contracts, and it also has to do with just generally finding a place to land without having to adjust my orbit too much later on. So there's that. Unfortunately, on the launch, this is a really expensive launch if you remember. It's about 423,000, I think is what it was. But unfortunately, the booster stages that I released did not get saved. Stage recovery was not, unfortunately, able to save those stages, so I did lose all of the money for those stages, as if I didn't even have parachutes on them. Stage recovery informs me that 2 of the boosters were destroyed upon re-entry. They burned up, but 4 of them made it, which is actually pretty surprising to me. What's not surprising to me, I guess, is that they hit the ground at a speed of 10.1 meters per second. That's not bad. 10.1 meters per second is still too fast to survive, though. So basically, kind of what it's telling me is it's just a little too heavy still. If I had had maybe 1 extra parachute on each of those things, that might have been pretty cool, but I did not have the parachute. So anyway, we make our capture burn here with this vessel, and it gets ourselves locked into a pretty good orbit. And I start looking at my contracts now because I have this vessel, it's orbiting the moon. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I have to get done. There's a whole bunch of contracts that I have to get done. And some of them involve doing magnetic field scans and plasma radiation waves, or whatever it's called. Plasma wave scan, there it is, from Moon and from Kerbin and things like that. So I'm going to have the science vessel take care of this, and it looks like it has to stay into orbit for numerous days. But here's the cool part about this. There's 2 different contracts that are just like this, and both of them say that I have to have an orbit of at least a certain amount of inclination and at least a certain eccentricity. So as long as I go to the most extreme one and match the conditions for the most extreme one, then it will work. So that's what that moon vessel is going to do for the time being. Then I got my resource scanner, got that into a polar orbit around Minmus, kind of fiddled with some nodes and stuff there. And that resource scanner is going to help me in identifying whether or not there's ore nearby our science station, whether or not there's substrates, water, rare metals, anything like that, because we can use a lot of these resources to ultimately make our base and manufacture things potentially on Minmus. I'm not going to be using extra planetary launch pads, at least not yet, at least not for the time being. I have been told, though, that the USI mods that I already have installed, the colonization mod, does come with functionality to build things off-world. I don't know how that works. I've never done it before, so I guess I'll give it a shot, but it will require that I mine certain types of materials in order to build the containers, the vessels, whatever I decide to build on top of Minmus or build outside of Kerbin. So we got our burn circularized here, and we'll get our scan started, and everything's kind of good there. I'm kind of fiddling with trying to figure out where Minmus is. And so the scan will start and do its thing. And then we finally work our way around. Our biome scanner, our multi-scanner, works its way around to get its rendezvous with the moon. And this is pretty much the same story. I want to get a polar orbit here so that I can have the planet sort of rotate underneath the scanner. And we can get our good look at the moon's biomes and things like that. For whatever reason, it doesn't let me create a maneuver node on the line. I keep clicking, it just flat out won't work. So I kind of go a little, I guess, manual on this and decide, well, you know what? Maybe I'll burn normal. That seems to be the right direction. So I'll burn a little bit, see if the line's moving the right way. Yep, it is. Cool. Let's turn the thrust up. And I just start burning normal to kind of shift my orbit to where I will approach the moon at a more polar angle. I guess. And once I get the orbit correct, all we have to do is basically time accelerate and then do our capture burn to get ourselves fully captured. And the only thing left to do at that point is to essentially just check to whether or not the biome scanner is functioning and doing what it wants. We'll use the ScanSat interface to do that. And I can see that biome information does actually show up now. So all I have to do now is wait for that scanner to do its thing, and our guys are just going to orbit around Moon. They're going to be doing some science from orbit, essentially from inside the mobile processing lab while it's floating around the Moon, and everything is good there. And so now it's time to look at other contracts, because I've got all these things kind of happening at once, but I do have to sort of wait. I have to wait to see the biomes, so I know where to land. I can pick a landing spot. The Moon has 15 biomes. It's a lot, so we have to sort of try to figure out a way to... well, first off, I need to be able to afford this stuff, and that takes contracts. We are a little low on cash, so that's the thing I'm focused on now. And now that we're on the topic of money, let's take a look at our contracts. We have several contracts that we can do, and we can sort of do these contracts and combine them into single flights. And I'll end up doing about 7 of these contracts in just 2 flights, which ends up being a really cool thing. But before I do that, I do need to go to the Research and Development Center, because I have a lot of science and I would like to spend it. I'm not going to bore you with all the shopping around I did. Just know that the only thing I actually ended up purchasing here at this time was the advanced aerodynamics node. I'm looking at doing heavy planes and Mk3 planes in the future for our SSTOs, but that is quite a distance in the future. So this time here, we are looking to, or I am looking anyway, to satisfy the contract that has that orbit that wants to go backwards. But while I do that, I'm also going to be testing an engine on the launch pad, and I'm also going to be doing the science requirements, which are the exact same 2 things, the magnetometer and the plasma wave scanner, in the orbit of Kerbin, with a particular inclination, or at least a certain inclination and at least a certain eccentricity. But since this is going backwards, we're going to be launching this in the reverse of Kerbin. We're going against the orbit of Kerbin. We are going to need a bit more delta V than it would normally take to get into orbit, because we have to fight the rotation of the Earth. We're already traveling, if you will, some 330 meters per second around just by sitting on the surface, and so we have to offset that and then gain it back again when we try to go into orbit of Kerbin. That's kind of, it's a lot harder to go in orbit in reverse. So I'm sort of manufacturing a quick little rocket here that's going to be capable of doing it. It's a pretty simple rocket. All we're going to put basically we're putting up into orbit the bare essentials. We have the probe, we have 2 solar panels that don't retract because I don't care. They're only 3 instead of 5. It's 1x3 instead of 1x5 because again, I don't care. We have a simple Communitron 16 at the top. And then I thought, you know what, let's put a bunch of other science experiments on this too, because there might be contracts in the future that says collect this certain science above Kerbin. And I'll be like, well, shoot, that's pretty easy. I'll just go to this satellite that's already orbiting Kerbin, and we'll just do it then. And so then we're on the launch pad, and we're going to do some time acceleration to get our launch point, I guess you could say, the timing in which we launch, to be right on that orbit that's required, so that when I do slope myself just a little bit to the south on my exit, I guess you could say, from the atmosphere, or at least I guess throughout the entire launch, I will be in an inclination that is roughly the same as the target inclination for this contract. So we're getting ourselves up, pushing ourselves through max Q, and getting our, obviously a lot of heat with that. But this rocket is very simple. It actually runs out of fuel about here. I just gotta click on the antenna, get it when I get up in the atmosphere a little bit higher anyway, eject it, and fire this tiny little Shiba engine, which is incredibly efficient at 515 ISP. It actually has a fair amount of thrust for that ISP too. It's I think it's one of my new favorite engines actually. It's pretty nice, but obviously it's only to be used with very small satellites like this one. So we circularize our orbit, and then we push our apoapsis up to the target apoapsis, or at least near it. With these types of contracts, you don't have to get exact, you just have to get approximate. So I don't necessarily need my apoapsis to be precisely the same as the target. If I get within, say, 10,000 meters, it's usually acceptable that way. And then we'll do the same thing for the periapsis. I did not need to do any inclination change, as you noticed. I actually managed to launch myself out at the same inclination as the target orbit. So this was a very, very easy mission with this rocket. It's very cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that contract. It's pretty much done. All we have to do now, or all I had to do now, as you can see up right there, it's all done. All I have to do now is the science part, and there's a contract to do the exact same experiments we did before on Kerbin, or at least around Kerbin, but it needs to be done from high above Kerbin, which means we need over 300,000 meters above the surface. So I adjust my orbit a little bit to give myself a tiny bit more eccentricity, but also get myself up above 300,000 meters and perform the science experiments once again. I end up misclicking and I do the Gorsat instead, but it's okay, I didn't have the science anyway. And I end up finally getting the contract fulfilled too. So then I turn to new contracts at Mission Control and I decide it's time to rescue Bartman Kerman from orbit. He is stranded. Of course, you guys have seen me do rescue missions before in previous episodes anyway, before the whole game crash episode. And so I make a couple of adjustments to my rescue craft because I don't want to use a ton of Delta V, but I also want some maneuverability. But I am sticking to my fairly, what's the term I'm looking for, stubborn self, and not employing any RCS on this vessel. It's just not worth the money to me. I can do it without it, I think. At least for rendezvous anyway, I can totally do it without it, so it's not a big deal. I do have a fairly unique little wing design down here. It does sort of help. These are, I think, B9 parts, and then some Space-Y boosters. Basically, everything on this craft is from a mod, so I don't think any part on this craft, aside from those parachutes, is part of the stock game. Well, okay, perhaps the decouplers are, but that's pretty much it. We have an incredibly fuel-efficient engine on the top stage and a bunch of thrust on the bottom stage. Does pretty well. I think it's kind of overkill on the thrust, but we do put some parachutes on these boosters, and I kind of learned my lesson from before and make sure that there's a ton of parachutes on the boosters because I do want the money back. And so now it's pretty much just up to getting the staging proper and then going ahead and launching the vessel. So we're on the launch pad. Everything looks good. Everything's fine. And we go ahead and launch, and something embarrassing happens. Yeah, especially since I have a degree in film and video production. The video stops right here. That's it. That's the end of the footage. I don't know what happened. Maybe my recorder decided to stop itself. I did have to force quit the game after this mission was done. Everything had to be force quitted, so perhaps that is a statement as to why that happened. But regardless, the mission was a success. Bartman is saved, and unfortunately, this mission also resulted. I kind of put some pressure scanners on the command pod for this vessel because I wanted to get the K files story underway. I wanted to get that going. So I went ahead and I put those on there, and I did the high atmosphere and low atmosphere right within the rescue. And on my way back down to the surface, everything was fine. We get back to the KSC. I got the science. I got the Bartman Kerman as a pilot, and he is now on our team. And essentially, the summary for episode 0, I guess you could say, for the K-Files contract pack is basically just Werner von Kerman from the lab saying, the results are inconclusive. I wonder if it has anything to do with Project N weather balloons. Oh yeah, he's clearly hiding something, but I digress. We are back, and we are looking at the next mission, which is a tourism mission. Essentially, we have a couple of tourists. They want to go into orbit around Kerbin, and they are paying not a whole lot of money to do it. So I make a couple of amenities to my rescue mission just to kind of get us to... Well, we don't really need as much Delta V this time, but it's pretty much the same craft as the rescue mission was. We get ourselves into orbit, I deorbit us, we come down to the surface, and parachutes galore. I didn't even remove the drogue chutes, I kept them on, but whatever. So there it is. We have all the missions I have done, and as we go back to Mission Control and find the new contracts, I am presented with An anomaly contract. It says to explore the pyramids. So I do want to say something here. If you guys, the anomalies around Kerbal Space Program are not something that I want to spoil for people who watch the series. I don't want to spoil this for people. So I will clearly label any video that shows an anomaly. And there are plenty around the Kerbal the system, all right? There's monoliths on different areas. There's the pyramids, as you can see. There are little statues. There are arcs in the terrain of the moon, for example. So if you don't want to have them spoiled and you want to discover them on your own, just don't watch the episodes that tell you about anomalies. And I will clearly label it with the word anomaly right in the title of the episode. So if you see that and you don't want it to be spoiled for yourself, don't watch that episode. Okay. So what am I doing now, you might be asking? Well, I'm flying a plane. Yep. Haha. This is the, well, I would say the new and improved plane, but I'm not entirely sure it's that much of an improvement. This is codename Frankenstein. This is my MK2, my new MK2 plane. It is pretty much using a single, at least one part from every parts pack I have. I think. I'm probably missing something, but I've got some B9 parts. I've got some, I don't know, this is a, what is this? This is an MK2B cockpit. I think it's some sort of stock enhancements thing. I don't know why that camera glitched right there. That wasn't a cut. It just did that. Anyway, we've got SW wings here. We've got really large landing gear, which I'm pretty sure that's stock. But we have SE4M control surfaces. I've got this big here, this fat 455 aeroplane tail fin. I'm not sure, is this stock? I don't remember. When you get enough parts packs installed, you get enough mods installed at one time, it's sometimes difficult to remember which parts are stock and which ones aren't. I think this is stock. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, the whole plane is powered by this one single turbojet engine. And it's got two modes. I've got this regular air breathing mode, if you will, this normal mode, which is using just 0.03 fuel as its depletion rate, which is like, I can go forever. Or I can toggle the mode on this, and I'll use way more fuel. I mean, it's still not that much, but I'll use way more fuel, but we'll actually be able to accelerate and climb at this distance, which if you didn't notice, we're up at 15 kilometers right now. Or just a hair under 15, there it goes. So, I mean, this plane can get pretty high, and we can do some pretty cool stuff with that, which is nice. We can almost get to the point where we can kind of see ourselves in space, maybe sometime in the near future. But the whole thing is powered by this one engine, which gives it incredibly bad thrust to weight ratio, but it is enough to take off on the runway with very much ease. There's no problems taking off on a runway. I imagine there's probably going to be some problems taking off anywhere else, unless it's the poles, which where we're going right now is to do some science at a place called Scott's Crater. We got 3 places we have to do. I forget what experiment it is, but we're going to go do that, which it is, which one is it? Here it is. Conduct seismic surveys. I already had it selected. Conduct seismic surveys, seismic readings on alpha, beta, and gamma site at Scott's Crater. So we're going to go there. That's pretty cool. But while we're up there, we have to get on the surface. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to land on the poles first. We're going to go straight to the poles. It's not that far away, but yeah. We'll go to the poles, we'll land there because there's a ton of landing space there. Lots of area to land. Then I'm gonna swing over and I will land over here and do these experiments. I'm not entirely sure how easy this plane is to land. This is actually its first flight. This is my initial test flight. And I'm just like, you know what? It's flying really damn well, you know? So like there's I don't really see a reason to go back and go, okay, now it's for real. Because it's so incredibly stable. I mean, there's virtually no, like, look at this thing. It's awesome. I can probably toggle this off. I don't mind going a little bit slower. If we start to drop in our, like, if our apoapsis starts to drop or we start losing altitude, big deal. We're already 17K in the air. But how are we going to do science, right? I mean, look at this. I don't have all of the experiments. Look at this thing. It's like Frankenstein. I don't have all of the experiments on the outside of the plane anymore like I used to with my first plane. So what are we going to do for science, right? Well, science experiments. Ooh, wait a minute. Did you guys hear that? Oh. Oh, my engine cut. Ugh, this is not good. Hang on. Let's dive. Hold on. Gotta dive. Keep our speed up. Get our altitude down. Well, I got up too high for this engine, at least for the amount of... Oh, do you see that little spark? But that wasn't just me. Like, there was a spark there. Okay, so I just needed to get... I figured out the maximum altitude, I guess, for this single engine. I guess I know what it is. Now we have to pull up so I don't, die. I'm able to get air. You'll notice there's no air intakes in this. This is a tank right here. So this isn't even like that engine nacelle thing. This is a regular adapter tank. The air intakes for this plane actually comes in right through here at the front. It's part of the crew, the cockpit. It's a built-in part of it, which I think is pretty nifty. But anyway, so I don't have the science experiments on the outside of the plane anymore, so how are we going to do science, right? Well, I've got it all, and I'm going to, I guess, try to get my plane actually to where we're maintaining altitude at least. I don't want to be focusing on this thing and then all of a sudden not get it. That's probably pretty good. Okay, so all of our science experiments are located inside this cargo bay. And I have it nice and neat, although now that I look at it, the first thing I notice is that these tanks are not symmetrical to this antenna. Yeah, I'm gonna notice that. We have a whole bunch of battery power. Never gonna have to worry about battery power. We've got the mech jeb, which I was kind of hoping could. I was kind of hoping the mech jeb would help me maintain altitude, but I don't see a setting in there. At least not the features I have unlocked. We also have this atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer, which can actually transmit the data here. And then run another experiment, actually. I'll probably run it again. See if we can anyway. But this, we're able to transmit because of that little antenna right there, and because we have satellites, which is nice. And once this is done transmitting, wow, look at the electric charge. This is why we have so much battery power, right, by the way. It's because this experiment takes forever to send. Which is, like, kind of a problem usually, but, yeah. And almost, there we go. So that's how long it takes to transmit science from this thing. If I run it again here, we'll see we have it over the grasslands now. This is biome specific, so I can go to every single biome and grab science from that. But yeah, actually now that I'm doing that and I see how long it takes to transmit, now I'm thinking I'll put some hard drives in here and then I can just have this data transmitted or transferred to the hard drive while I'm flying, because I can't obviously get out of the cockpit. Of course, we have the standard experiments here as well. We've got temperature, we've got pressure, all this other stuff here too. Oh, I can't transmit anymore. I just lost the satellite. Well, anyway, that's where we're going, and I'm going to go to the poles and Scott's Crater. And once I get there, I guess I'll, we'll come on back and see me once I finally reach my destination. I've been flying now for about 25 minutes or so, and I've got about another 25 minutes probably to go to get to the destination. So, see you when I get there. Okay, so we're still flying here. I've got this on 4 times time acceleration, which I normally wouldn't do in a plane, but because it's so stable, I'm just gonna do it. So I've got it on 4 times time acceleration. That's our destination right there. But if you recall, I want to go to the North Pole, and the North Pole is incredibly flat, so it's very easy to land there, at least in my opinion anyway. Anytime you get a really large flat area, it tends to be the easiest to land on. So we're gonna go past Scott's Crater just for now and head on up north to the North Pole instead. So I think the pole is probably like around here. So I'm just gonna come in here, land, do all the science I wanna do, then come back and through here. And if necessary, and it may be necessary, we'll be using some of these parachutes to land. I don't have an engineer with me. It's just a single crew with Jebediah. So I don't have the ability to like repack the parachutes. So I may try to use just 2 of them, see how fast we're falling. May activate another 2, see how fast we're falling, and then I can take off and go back to the KSC. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know how that will work. You may also notice I have a couple of parachutes on just the front piece here as well. This is actually, it was intended to be a good purpose, for a good purpose anyway, but there was an oversight made in the design, which is why you test your designs, and this is the first time I've flown this. This is the plane's maiden voyage, and it's holding up really, really well. Even though in order to do that, you need SAS on, and you see the canards, they're kind of tilted up to do that. If I turn SAS off, it goes like that. Well, it goes like that because it's in time acceleration. It wouldn't be quite that extreme if it wasn't time acceleration, but yeah, anyway, it's gonna dip its nose down if you take SAS off. So it's not the most stable craft possible, but I mean, like, who flies planes without SAS on? I just don't know who would do that. I don't know. Come down under the clouds. Somebody asked me in a comment once if I upload craft files. Actually, we're falling pretty fast now, so I'm gonna get ourselves to kind of stop falling a little bit. Maybe we're falling a little too fast now. Somebody asked me if I upload craft files, and I mean, I can, I guess, but like, you won't be able to open them unless you have all the mods I do for parts. So it's kind of weird, but I guess I could. You know, tell me what crafts you guys are interested in me uploading. I suppose I could give it a shot, but like, whatever. I mean, craft files are nothing to host. You know, hosting craft files is nothing. So, all right, we are going through the clouds here. I can't really see anything. Oh, here we go. We've got some ground beneath us. I can see the ground beneath us. It's not ice. This may not be the North Pole yet. I thought it was, but it may not be. No, it's not. Not quite yet. We need to get up here. So, still got some flying to do. Faked me out. I could kind of cheat and get over the clouds like this. All right, there's my poles over here. This line right there, that's where I need to get. So I think I'm actually going to turn a little bit. It's a little jittery to steer on a keyboard because, you know, it's 100% on or 100% off when you tap the keys. There is a great and awesome analog keyboard on Kickstarter right now called the Wooting, W-O-O-T-I-N-G, the Wooting, because, you know, when you have it, you're just gonna go whoop. It's awesome. It kind of interfaces like it's a controller, like an Xbox controller, but you can type with it just the same. You don't really notice all that much of a difference. It will support analog input on any game that would normally support a controller, which Kerbal Space Program is one of those games that would normally support an analog controller or a joystick. So if you had the Wooting, you would not have to go 100% on, 100% off on your taps or on your flight. You wouldn't have to tap the keys to do things. You know, you could have a nice, even, pressure sensitive or press sensitive feedback input, I guess, into the keyboard, which would be pretty cool. Okay, now we're getting to the North Pole. Yep. Now we're getting to the North Pole. So we're gonna start our descent here. I'm gonna try and control our descent. I don't know how it is to land with this. I don't know how hard it will be to land with this plane. I guess we'll find out. I have 2 different sizes of landing gear on this. There's the large landing gear in the back and the medium landing gear in the front. Because that's just sort of the sizes of the landing legs and the position on the plane. It just made sense. The landing legs are it's just the way they're oriented. So I do like how slim this is. Like, it's just, the profile on this is so slim. There's barely any drag. It's almost like you know that movie Interstellar, like the drone that the guy and his dad find, or his he finds with his kid. Matthew McConaughey finds with his kids. That drone, it was like just this narrow, sort of, not really narrow, but like it was like this. It was really thin. It had virtually nothing to the body. And that's kind of how this plane looks. It's pretty cool, I think. Okay, let's dip this down. Now, does this white here count as North Pole, or do I have to get all the way over to this? I don't remember. I do think that I'm about to lose. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go all the way to the ice over there. And I don't want to lose the speed, so let's speed up a little bit here. We are going to keep our altitude lower. Still stuck in the clouds. But at least it's not the dark, am I right? All you guys who watched episode, I think it was 5. Just like, why is he flying in the dark? Turn your light, get lights on your craft. Put some lights on your plane. That's something I didn't do on this, I don't think. I don't think I put lights on this. Nope. No lights on this plane. Maybe we're going for a more stealthy approach, I don't know. All right, we're over the ice caps, which is interesting. It's new. I don't remember the ice caps, but being a biome anyway. But let's try and see if we can open up this pod here and get some science. Oh yeah, temperature. Nope. Nope. Over Kerbin's ice caps. Cool. Unfortunately, we don't have a signal. The satellite we have going in a polar orbit is not... apparently I need to put out more satellites, because the one we have going in polar orbit is not above us right now. So I have no signal, which kind of puts a bit of a damper on our ability to, do things. Yeah, so I think it's time to land. Let's get ourselves down. I really want to get out of the clouds. So I'm going to put this thing into kind of a dive so I can get down away from these clouds. There we go. Okay, so we are definitely over the ice now. That's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around, face towards our eventual destination, which is Scott's Crater. Face towards Scott's Crater and try to land it in that direction. Yep, I'm going to kill some of the speed too, but that's alright. Turning around will give me a lot of speed. We'll kill a lot of the speed off, so that's good. Okay, let's turn around. And we're just going to kind of work our way around. Nice. Super stable plane, guys. It's awesome. Okay, landing gear down. Let's get ourselves prepared for a landing. There's the ice caps. Going to put up the air brakes. Oh yeah. Air brakes, baby. We don't want to brake that fast though, so let's put them back down. They're too good. Alright, I want to not be falling that quickly. There we go. Vertical velocity, got to kill it off. There we go. And oh. There we go. Brakes are on. Now it's all about stopping on the ice. Oh yeah. We have a touchdown. And I have no ladder. Oh, I forgot to put a ladder on this thing. Well, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal as long as I don't fall off the plane. I just have to not fall off the plane. So let's EVA. Just nope, do not fall. Okay, good. So as long as I don't fall, we should be okay. I need to grab the data out of this thermometer. There we go. Okay, I guess we can go down in here. Sure. Now it's as if we're on the surface, but we're not really. We'll log the pressure. Can't do that from... I should have ran all these experiments. That's okay. Let's take the data out of this. Okay, cool. I need to run these experiments, but I don't think I can if there's nobody in the pod, right? If there's nobody in here, I don't think I can run this. Yeah, there's nobody crewing the vessel, so I can't do this without a crew. So let's grab the data. Oh, getting caught up on my... Yep. Okay, I need to get up. There we go. Let's take the data, store the experiments, and then board. If it'll let me. You will let me get on, right? Thank you. Okay. Whew. Okay, so we're gonna run all the experiments again. It's gonna say perform all science. Boom. We get, let's see, a whole bunch of science here. We've got the mystery goo, which we'll hold on to that. We've got the crew report, we'll hold on to that. Atmospheric analysis, atmospheric pressure, seismic scan, temperature scan. That's pretty good. I'm good with that. We also need to run the magnetometer. Eventually, guys, I swear, we're gonna get to the point where I'm gonna say that word right the first try. Eventually, it's gonna happen. I know you guys probably have no faith in me, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. Okay, so that's the data. Let's go ahead and just toggle that back in. Then we'll EVA again. There we go. Whoop, don't fall off. If you fall off, you're screwed. We're gonna have to fly all the way back out here. Down you go. Yep, just jump into the crew cabin, that's fine. Or into the, you know what I'm talking about. I can't speak. Download the data. Let's take this data too. Okay. Now he's not a scientist, so he can't run the experiments from EVA, but, ooh, hang on. We can take a surface sample when I'm sitting in here. That's a cheat. That's cheating. I'm gonna do it anyway. The game lets me do it, I'm gonna do it. He can't run the experiments from EVA, but he can take the data from them, which is what we need him to do. Oh no, don't you glitch out. Don't you do this. What is this? Stop it. Oh my gosh, I was concerned it was gonna like teleport me through this thing, and then I wasn't gonna be able to get back up. Okay. So we need to find a way back up on top of the... find a way to get back up there. Oh, there we go. And up. Nope. All right, new rule. We're gonna put a ladder right here. That's what we're gonna do next time. There we go. Now we'll stay and store the data and board back in our plane. All right, good to go. Let's quickly extend this. No, we really don't need to. I was gonna extend the solar panel to get us some real quick amount of electric charge. That's what this is for, but we don't really need it right now. So let's retract this, and we're going to throttle up, take the brakes off, and head on out to Scott's Crater to do the seismic scans. So we'll just lift off here, get to about 80 meters per second, and then you can just sort of pick it up, and then you're up in the air. It's that easy. Look at that. Oh yeah. This is not a bad plane to have, really. It just has slow acceleration, you know? Doesn't climb very fast, but if you toggle this mode, then you get, you get what you want. It takes a little bit more fuel, but whatever. You have tons of fuel in this thing. Like, you can go all the way around the world once, I think, probably. I'm taking a look at my my computer, the actual internals. I have a window on the side of the case, and the Corsair logo on my water cooler. I have an H100i water cooler. The Corsair logo is red right now. Not sure why. It was white the whole time. It's turned itself red just now. Anyone know what that means? I mean, I'm probably going to look it up before I post this, but I can't imagine it means I'm overheating. I'm ridiculously cool. This computer runs. I've never seen this processor above 60C. Like, I've never seen it. No matter how graphical intensive, I completely max out Skyrim, Fallout 4, just max it out, play 4K. I didn't get shitty frame rates at 4K with the specs, but I try it anyway, and I run it. You know, I do IDA64 benchmarks and all that stuff, and I have never seen my processor go over 60C. So, you know, I can't imagine that it's overheating right now. It's just a little Kerbal. But maybe, I don't know. I guess if the video ends abruptly right here and I have to make a cut for some reason, then you'll know. But anyway, you got 16 minutes to the destination, so actually I'm gonna cut anyway, so I guess maybe you won't know. So I guess I'll see you when I get to the destination. Okay, that is going to be, I think, a bit difficult to land in, which is why we brought the parachutes. Unless it's on the other side. Might be on the other side. It's not bad. Yeah, it looks like we're kind of over the mountains now. Yep, let's get that atmospheric scan over the mountains. Atmospheric analysis over the mountains. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it actually doesn't look like it's all that difficult. It might actually be flat. Just with the name Crater, I figured it would be difficult to land there. But maybe not. Let's start to descend a little bit here. About 50 miles out. Should start to descend. 50 kilometers, that's... I don't know what that is. I'm not good with the metric system. Let's go with 30 miles. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I know that a mile is longer than a kilometer. I just know that, so. Let's sort of scope the area out here, see what sort of landing situation we're gonna get ourselves into. Just gonna dive a little bit here. Get underneath the clouds so I can start seeing what we're doing. I do need to slow down a bit, going a little too fast. There we go, that's better. I love air brakes. This plane can slow down very easily. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's gonna be all that much of a challenge. Okay, so now I'm starting to see the landscape a little better. Yeah, this will be different. This will be difficult, I think. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Trying to figure out where I want to come in at. Where do I want to... Maybe this way? Kind of like that, maybe? Let's try that. Let's come in this way. Although it does look pretty hilly. You know what? I'm really not sure if this is possible. I want to say it is, though. I want to give it a try. So let's get ourselves back over here, and we'll try to approach it kind of from this direction, like that. Although it really just looks like there's a ton of hills. I'm not so sure this is a good idea to try to land this. I'm kind of thinking that kind of thinking we may have to... The gimbaling on this engine is crazy. It really, really bends up. All right, let's pull ourselves around. Pull ourselves around. I'm not sure this is a good idea, but I kind of want to give it a shot. Let's slow down. Going way too fast. Okay. Control our descent. All right, hit the brakes, hit the brakes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That worked out quite well, actually. Okay, I like this plane, guys. I'm a fan of this plane, Frankenplane. I'm kind of a fan right now, Frankenplane. All right, we are now in alpha. Go figure. Get into alpha as soon as I get my, speed up. Okay, we've reached the alpha site, which means we can open up the cargo bay and perform the science. We're gonna grab. Actually, you know what? We can probably just grab. We're landed in the Highlands, so I want to run this. Ooh, I need to grab the data though. I don't want to transmit it because it takes too long. If we had a satellite network, I would totally do it, but I don't have it right now. Let's do the seismic. Log seismic data, there we go. And actually, there's not a whole lot of science to be had here, so I'm just gonna reset the experiment like over and over again. That seems to be the way to do this, I think. So that's beta. Yeah, that's beta, and that's gamma. We're definitely gonna do beta first, so. Okay, we're in the beta now. Let's kill the time acceleration, hit the brakes, turn ourselves that way. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and smack that seismic thing now. Log it, cool. Reset the experiment. That's all we need to do is just have the reading. We don't even need to report it. Kind of weird, but all right. We are now in the gamma site, so we'll just go ahead and crank this on, get that seismic data. There we go. Contract completed. Huh? Pretty slick. Crew report. Ooh, I don't want to override anything. Let's grab the science here. Let's grab, if we can. I'm gonna have to drop down in there, so. All right, dropping down. Let's grab the data out of this. Okay, there we go. Let's use the climb function. Oh, I didn't know about climb before. I figured it out. Board. There we go. Run this experiment again. There we go. Go ahead and keep it that time. And I think that's pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything else I need to run in the Highlands. We'll try this, I guess, and see. Nope. Nothing I need to do there. Pressure's all good. Crew report's probably fine, although let's EVA real quick. We'll try an EVA report. Okay, that's no good. Let's try a surface sample. It's kind of gamey, but we'll take it. 2.3. Crew report here. Can't do that. Let's take the data, store the experiments, and board again, if I can. Thank you. And can I do a crew report or no? That doesn't really do anything. Okay, let's go home. Actually, we're only 607 kilometers away from the pyramids. Ooh, I see an anomaly episode coming after this. Yep, I'm gonna go there because I'm not that far away, and honestly, like, I got tons of fuel, so we're gonna do that in the same flight. So But we're gonna make that a new episode. Yeah, definitely gonna do that. Make that a new episode because we can't be revealing secrets that people may not want to know. Remember, guys, when I do a mission that involves an anomaly. Actually, yep, there it is. Here we go. Let's see if we can take off first before I start blabbing here. Oh, come on, come on, get up, get up. Oh, piece of cake, come on. Get that speed up. Yeah, that's right, piece of cake. Okay, guys, that's gonna be it. Next episode, we're gonna do the pyramids here. We're gonna do the anomaly. So, yeah. Watch out for that, and don't watch it if you don't want it spoiled, I guess, because any episode that has an anomaly in it or has the secrets of the Kerbal solar system, Kerbaler system. It's not really a soul. It's not soul, so it wouldn't be solar. It'd be Kerbaler. The Kerbaler system. Any secrets that are in episodes, I don't want to ruin them for people, and I'm on my way to the pyramids right now. So take care, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.